front. Well, I was just thinking, I think we ought to be a bit wary when we watch stuff on wherever it is, no matter if it's YouTube or whatever. Sometimes some documentaries and some bits of movie and whatever, there seem to be some valid bits. For example, you might find some that says, oh, Tower 7 collapsing at 911, all that a bit iffy, bit woo, and that's quite valid. There's people saying, well, there's something a bit not quite right there, but then they link it to something else, that's controversial, or what is a bit got a kind of, not that 911's not controversial, but they link something that, how shall we say, for example, 911. There are a lot of people in the officialdome that would rather you don't speak about it. So if you can link something what you don't want people to speak about with something which can draw a lot of critical fire from other quarters. For example, one particular documentary I'd seen, it went into quite a good detail about things like 911 and stuff. But then it started having a bit of a bash at religion, you see. So, of course, then you'll get a lot of people that are religious that will say, oh, don't watch that, that's terrible. And they'll link the bit what is religious bashing and the bit that they probably might benefit from seeing. So they'll throw the whole lot out. So it's sort of throwing a baby out with the bathwater. So, and I saw another bit where a prominent chappie who was talking about something that made sense to start with, and he goes on about a bit of sort of kind of new agey religion-y type stuff. Well, again, most ordinary people watching that, the first bit they say, oh yeah, well that makes sense, and then when you link the new agey bit, you go, oh, that bloke's perhaps a little bit, I'm just talking, he might not be, I'm not criticising that person, I'm just saying that most people's perception will be that they think he's a bit, So what they do is say, oh, he's a bit, So if he says this bit, which is a bit, link it to the bit that he says as well, which is actually quite valid and probably quite right. They put the two together, and so the bit that they should be looking at, again, they throw it out. They say, well, he's telling me that, but he's also telling me this iffy bit, so I throw the whole lot out. So, and of course, people will go, oh, well, you've got all these cranks telling us this, that, and the other, and they go back to the official story. So, you could think there's some sort of psychological operation going on here. Yeah, so watch out, because there might be people saying, oh yeah, well, we'll let them have freedom of speech, but we'll put a few people around that sound a bit kooky, and so when they see the kooky people talking about these things, they'll associate talking about these things with kookiness, and therefore they reject them. So they come back to the official story, so we can get away with another thing, like perhaps, oh, we've been reporting missing nukes at the moment, and we've been reporting things might happen on the 20th or the 21st of January, and we've been reporting there's more terrorist activity that we know about, and thousands of terrorists. And you think, well, if they know about all these thousands of terrorists, why don't you just go and put them in on their door and say, oi, you, don't do it, but it isn't. It's just still fabricated, isn't it? I'm not saying there aren't a few nutcases out there that would do silly things, but there'd be who's sponsoring them. Where they get all the money from to do it all? I mean, you think how much money it takes you to go on holiday, and how much it takes you to organise going on holiday. That's about once a year if you're lucky. But these terrorist folks, they think about to get loads of money to learn to fly planes and all sorts of stuff, and they get a nice little address down at a US base and stuff like that. And you think, well, hold on, there's a bit of a smell around here. But as I say, you associate a kooky person, something with both a kooky message and a sort of what I'd call a truther, seeking the truth type message, and people will go, oh, officialdom sounds all sensible. These truthers are all kooky because they're all associated too. So people are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So there's a lot of disinfo, I reckon. Might be wrong. It might just be some kooky people that also like going with the alternative view. But I don't know. But I suppose it takes all sorts. But it could be some of that around. I don't know. There might be a bit of because these insecurity people, they got their operatives, haven't they? I reckon they have. Anyway, right, cheers for now.